Today we're back to the Priorat in northern Spain, and the property is called Terroir al Limit. Terroir al Limit. And this particular wine is Torroja. Now, Torroja is a village in the Priorat, and this is 50% Carignan and 50% Grenache. Pretty much the typical endemic grapes of the region. Terroir al Limit is really one of the premier sort of craft wines of the area. As I think we discussed before, there's a lot of properties in Priorat or names or brands that didn't exist 40, 50, 60 years ago, but the vines are a lot older than that. It's just that there was a revolution towards the end of the last century where more talent started buying up these vineyards and getting attracted to the terroir and really cleaning up and rejuvenating the vines and the land and all that, and gave rise to all these amazing properties like Terroir al Limit, like Clos Mogador, like some of the Palacios wine, and some of the others, we will hear about over time. Now, Terroir al Limit is very hands-on. It's very manual. It's biodynamic. It's they still plow the terraces with horses. They crush the wines once a week in the cuves with their feet. It's whole cluster fermentation, around 20 degrees Celsius. Keep it constant, and it's aged in neutral. Totally neutral cuves, either old oak or cement food. And this line, the ones under Terroir al Limit name, are typically really focused on the terroir, meaning on the particular vineyard. And even if they assemble different varietals, they're vinified separately. The wines tend to be a little bit on the expensive side because of the way they're made and because of the sort of their hand made focus, and the prices go anywhere from about 30, 40 to 200 plus. This is what I would call one of the entry levels, but from the same vineyards, from older vines, you have 100%, 200% Carignan wines that are made in the more like 80 to 90 year old vines. These are more like in the 50-year-old vines in that region. Anyway, I opened this yesterday. As usual, it's a lot better the day after. I cooled it off a little bit. Let's see what we have. It's it's in the violet range of colors, and it's a little bit perturbed, I think, because of the coolness here of the fridge. But it's very clear in terms of being able to see through the glass and having a little bit of that Burgundian, tint. The bouquet, a lot of the Priorat wines have this telltale licorice bouquet. It's also very mineral. The soil there is very mineral, very schisty, so you're always going to get that iron, the minerality of the soil. And when you first open it, it's a little bit funky, but as everything else, this dissipates. So you shouldn't really worry about that. The licorice comes, and the red fruit comes out more and more. It's funny because, and maybe I can't tell the difference, but at some point the Carignan and the Grenache from the Priorat, to me, have a lot of the same characteristics. So maybe it's really the terroir after all, not the grape. Just going to let it open up a little more. The licorice is coming to the fore a lot more, and that happens with these Priorat wines a few hours after you open it, always. This is not a high alcohol wine, 13.5%, but their wines are always very more on the subtle side. They've tried to develop a subtler version of the big, intense Priorats that are intense by function of the climate and the age of the vines and all that. This is they managed to do something that's a little more refined, a little bit more subtle, but still very enjoyable and very good with food. The finish is very nice. This is a very harmonious, very steady wine. You got the attack, you got the finish, and you got the mid palate. You got the fruit, you got the minerals, as I said. All the stuff that was in the bouquet comes in the mouth as well. And you know, you also have the feeling and the confidence that you are really handling a product of very nice quality, where people put a lot of effort behind it, and they're going to continue to make new sort of experimentations over time. Cheers to everyone, and talk to you soon.